Welcome to the It Factor, where Jemmy and I exploring a new blog post by Mr. Len Kaplan, CEO of CDML, a managed service provider in Queens, NY, offering network management, voice over IP, unified communications as a service, cybersecurity, compliance, infrastructure as a service, cloud solutions, and Microsoft 365 and Azure solutions. If you're a small business owner or manage IT for a growing organization, this episode is for you.
Absolutely. And we have a really intense topic today.
Yeah, we really do. I mean, imagine negotiating a digital ransom for your company's servers.
Yeah.
You're stressed out, obviously, but you feel somewhat insulated, right? We see the attackers, thousands of miles away just hiding behind a screen.
Right, it's just pixels and code.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then you hear a knock. You walk to your front door and you find this physical threatening package mailed directly to your home address by the very hackers you are messaging online.
It is genuinely terrifying. And that is the core of what we are unpacking in this deep dive. We're looking at a piece by Len Kaplan, and the title really says it all. Cybercrime is no longer just virtual when digital attacks become real-world threats.
The paradigm shift here is it's massive.
Mm-hmm.
The mission of our deep dive today is to really map out what this means for your organization today. Because, well, for the longest time, the psychological barrier for an IT manager or a business owner was kind of comforting.
Yes, cybercrime was this abstract, contained problem.
Right, you deal with a locked server, maybe a nasty virus or a fake invoice. The chaos lived entirely inside the computer. Your physical reality, your actual safety, and your family's safety remained completely untouched.
But that line between inside the computer and physical danger is completely disappearing. Len Kaplan highlights this recent BBC article in his post, and it covers a really disturbing trend. Cybercriminals are now pairing traditional data encryption with actual real-world physical extortion.
Which brings us back to that scenario I mentioned at the start. That actually happened, didn't it?
Yes. It happened to a security professional named Tim Beasley. He was just helping a victim organization negotiate a ransomware attack.
Wow. So he's just doing his job. He's behind a desk, managing this crisis purely from a technical angle?
Exactly. But the attackers, they didn't just counter his tactics by encrypting more files. They actually weaponized public data brokers to find his home address, and they sent a physical package right to his front door.
It's like a burglar breaking into your office, but while you're scrambling to secure the building, they throw a brick through your home window to intimidate you out of calling the police.
That is a perfect way to describe it. It's about psychological manipulation. And to understand the scale, we have to look at the numbers. This isn't just one rogue group acting out.
Right. It's becoming standard practice.
Yeah, systemic escalation.
Yeah.
The blog post cites this 2025 Semperis global study, and the statistics are staggering. Globally, 40% of ransomware attacks included threats to physically harm executives or employees if they didn't pay.
Wait, 40%? That's almost half.
And for U.S.-based organizations, that number jumped to 46%.
That is just wild to me. Nearly half the time, the extortion includes physical danger. I mean, why cross that line? Hackers have made billions operating in the shadows, right? Just locking data and collecting crypto, introducing the postal service and physical addresses. Doesn't that invite massive attention from the authorities?
Well, yeah, it does. But criminals are using psychological manipulation because they know exactly how the human brain works under extreme duress.
Okay, break that down for me.
So think about the timeline of a ransomware breach. Day 1 is just pure shock. By day 3, the organization is bleeding cash from operational downtime. They're exhausted, but maybe they're holding firm because their legal counsel is advising them not to pay.
Right, they're trying to play it by the book.
Exactly. And the attackers are monitoring all these internal communications. They see the victim resisting. They realize the digital leverage just isn't cutting it anymore.
So they escalate.
They pivot to visceral terror, shifting the threat from, we're going to delete your accounting database, to, we know where your kids go to school. It completely bypasses the logical business part of the brain.
It triggers pure survival mode.
Precisely. They know that extreme fear shatters resolve. It forces decision makers into bad choices, like bypassing security protocols, firing their negotiators, and just paying the ransom immediately to make the physical threat stop.
Wow. That is incredibly dark, but it makes total sense from their twisted perspective.
Yeah.
And honestly, this is exactly why staying ahead of these rapid shifts is just crucial. By the way, to help you stay ahead, CDML publishes new blog posts every Tuesday and Thursday.
Yeah, it's a great resource.
Definitely. Building that into your routine is a really smart move. So let's transition a bit, because I know what a lot of small business owners listening are probably thinking right now.
They're thinking, this sounds like cartel behavior for Fortune 500 companies, not my local business.
Exactly. That is the immediate objection. They assume they are just way too small to target. But don't hackers want massive, multi-million-dollar payouts? Why spend time on a small contractor or a local dental office?
It's a really common myth, but it completely misunderstands how modern cybercrime works. Attackers actually love targeting small medical offices, law firms, schools, and nonprofits.
But why? The payout is so much smaller.
Because it's not about fame, and it's not always about the biggest single payout. It's about vulnerability. Small businesses are soft targets.
Ah, okay. Because they don't have a massive IT security team.
Right. They have limited IT staff, tiny budgets, and usually no formal incident response plan. Attackers can move incredibly fast from a simple technical compromise to a full-blown business crisis. It's about easy leverage.
But even so, if they're mailing packages and researching home addresses, that takes human effort. Wouldn't they save that effort for the big fish?
Well, the initial attack doesn't involve human effort at all. It's automated. Criminals use automated botnets to scan the entire internet, 24/7 by 365. They are constantly jiggling millions of digital door handles at once.
So they're just waiting to see what pops open.
Exactly. And Len Kaplan lists the specific open doors these bots are programmed to look for. Weak passwords, missing MFA, which is multi-factor authentication, by the way.
Right, where you need a second form of ID to log in, not just a password.
Yes. They also look for unpatched systems, exposed emails, unprotected backups, and frankly, employees who just lack security training.
So the bots find the open door, they break in, and then the humans take over to do the actual extorting.
You nailed it. And because small businesses often lack internal segmentation, once the attackers are in, they have the keys to the entire kingdom in minutes.
That completely reframes the issue, because we're moving from a purely technical problem to something much bigger. This means the responsibility has to shift from the IT department to the executive boardroom.
It absolutely does. This is a leadership crisis now. Len Kaplan makes it very clear that a ransomware attack is no longer a simple computer problem.
Right. You aren't just protecting data anymore. You are literally protecting your people's safety and your company's survival.
Yes. And the financial stakes are astronomical. The FBI's 2025 Internet Crime Report showed that reported cybercrime losses surpassed $20 billion in 2025.
$20 billion.
Yeah, that's a 26% increase from the prior year. Ransomware is still a major threat to critical infrastructure. But the scary part is what that $20 billion doesn't include.
The hidden costs.
Exactly. That number is just the direct losses. It doesn't capture the crushing cost of downtime or emergency recovery, which means hiring forensic teams at premium rates.
Right, and the reputational damage. If you lose your client's trust, that can bankrupt a business, plus the immense stress on the owners and employees.
It becomes a massive safety, compliance, and law enforcement issue. It requires a coordinated response between management, legal counsel, insurance, and the police. You can't just dump this on your one IT guy and say, fix it.
Yeah, that's totally unfair and just bad business.
Yeah.
So, we've talked a lot about the storm. Let's pivot to the umbrella. How do you actually build resilience before the storm hits?
I like that. Building the umbrella. Len Kaplan's core philosophy here is really important. The goal isn't perfection.
Oh, I love that. Because perfection is impossible, right?
Exactly. The goal is resilience. You want to reduce the chance of an attack, limit the damage if they do get in, and ensure you can recover in a controlled way.
Like a fire drill. You don't want to be drawing the evacuation map while the building is on fire. You have to know exactly who you're calling before the emergency happens.
That's a perfect analogy. And there are immediate action steps you can take. First, require MFA everywhere. No exceptions.
Right. What else?
Keep your endpoints patched. That means updating your software regularly so those known vulnerabilities are closed. And you need to implement EDR.
EDR, so that's endpoint detection and response, right? For the listeners who might not know, how is that different from regular antivirus?
Great question. Legacy antivirus just looks for known bad files, like a bouncer checking a list. EDR looks for bad behavior. If a normal program suddenly starts trying to delete all your backups, EDR spots that behavior and shuts it down instantly.
That's brilliant. It's like having a security guard actually watching the cameras, not just checking IDs at the door.
Exactly. You also need to limit administrator privileges. Not everyone needs the power to install software. Monitor for unusual logins, test your data backups to make sure they actually work, and train your employees.
That sounds like a lot for a small business owner to handle on their own. I mean, they're busy running their actual business.
Which is exactly how CDML Computer Services helps. They help organizations build these practical defenses. They offer managed IT, Microsoft 365 configurations, zero trust solutions, and they help you build that incident response plan before a crisis hits.
It really takes the weight off your shoulders. So if you're listening to this and realizing maybe your defenses aren't where they should be, I highly recommend checking them out. Visit cdml.com to subscribe to the blog, and honestly, schedule a cybersecurity review to evaluate your current posture. You really don't want to wait on this.
No, you don't. The ultimate takeaway from Len Kaplan's article is that the old idea of harmless, virtual-only cybercrime is dead.
Yeah, it's completely gone.
Today's attacks target operations, they target your finances, and as we've seen, they target your personal safety. The time to train and prepare is right now.
We want to leave you with a chilling but really necessary question to ponder as we wrap up this deep dive. If a malicious actor breached your network today, who is the very first person you would call? And what would your plan be if they demanded a ransom while casually mentioning your home address?
It's a heavy question, but you need to know the answer.
Absolutely. If you found this deep dive valuable and informative, please click the thumbs up button. We really appreciate it. We're Jemmy and Nye. Thanks for listening. Till next time.